Welcome everybody to our very first episode of the Rogues Den Show. We're joined today by Emma. That's where you say hello.
Hi.
Nathaniel.
Greetings.
And Daniel.
Hello.
And Bo.
Howdy.
And this is our first episode of the Rogues Den Show online version. And today we thought we'd start with DC Comics and all things DC. So to kick things off, we're going to go dive into the news that's surrounding all things DC in the last few weeks. So what have we got, guys? What have we got happening in DC Comics? DC.
The Suicide Squad has bombed spectacularly.
Yes.
And everyone has theories on why, but everyone seems to like it anyway.
Has everyone here seen the new Suicide Squad? Who's seen it?
Yep. It is absolutely hilarious and fantastic.
And Emma has not seen it.
I have not seen it.
I'm not watching that.
Is what Dan was saying about the bombing. I think what we're experiencing here is a shift in the way that we view film and television, in the sense that I think we're seeing, due to obviously the pandemic and the way that it's affected how we are able to go about watching cinema. I think we're seeing an increase in content over film or television. Like, studios just want to see content presented to an audience, and we just go, yeah, I'll stream that or I'll watch that. So, which I don't know what that means for the future of cinema in terms of bums on seats type thing. But
yeah, I think, well, now with the Delta strain hitting the US quite hard too, they're sort of starting to scale back theatrical release and continuing with the streaming services.
What do you think that'll mean for movies? Because there's two options. There's either that studios will make cheap movies that they can put on their streaming services, or they will move back to cinemas when they can to make big movies. But they can't make big movies for streaming services. They won't make enough money.
Yeah, I think that's a very good observation there, Daniel. Like, it's very much one of those things now where it's going to come down to what they can pull together as a budget. But I guess then you've got things like Amazon Studios, who have invested $600 million into their Lord of the Rings TV show. So the money is about. I guess it just really comes down to how it comes back as a ROI, like what kind of money they're getting in return.
I also think that either major name actors are either going to have to start taking pay cuts in order to get the work in those films or TV series, or they will start to employ lesser known actors for not as much.
Yeah.
Because like they're going to want to put all that money into story and visual development rather than, just securing a big name.
There's also the problem with their contracts right now, because a lot of contracts are on the back end, and we got Scarlett Johansson who's suing Disney for that, even though they renegotiated Dwayne Johnson's contract for the same setup. So they haven't got a leg to stand on. They're going to be so screwed.
I think that's going to get real messy.
Yeah,
it already has. Bob Chapek basically called her an idiot and an asshole.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think on another note, Aquaman 2, with all that stuff that's going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, how's that going to go over?
It's very interesting. So, what do we think of the movie, The Suicide Squad? Do we like the way it was reimagined from James Gunn, or do we like the original theatrical version better?
Having not seen it, it's better than the original.
I did enjoy the second one more than the first.
Okay.
It was much more bloody in parts, and I'll be honest, it was a bit weird actually seeing Ben's private parts in a couple of scenes.
Whose private parts?
Oh, did you not see a couple of men's private parts in the movie?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh, God, why?
Oh, no.
It's Starro's bloody weird flap thing that all the little Starros come out and...
Oh, I actually quite enjoyed Starro, but I did feel wrong that it was Suicide Squad taking care of Starro.
Well, I think that's always been my kind of like... I don't want to say like my problem with the movie, because like I think anyone that can put together a movie of any capacity should be like, that's a good thing. I don't want to like put shit on that, but I've always thought that the threat level for the Suicide Squad has been too high. They need somebody more. I think it needs to be more street level, or maybe somewhere in between epic alien invasion and street level, somewhere in between that, and not aim so high.
They should have built
street level threat.
They should have built the Suicide Squad up to such threats.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, that's true.
I always thought that they could, you could have a DC movie that's bigger with the Justice League or Batman or Superman or something, and then in the background, the Suicide Squad happens, and we just see it from their perspective.
Well, I was really hopeful.
Have you seen Lower Decks?
No.
In that show, you have the Star Trek Enterprise doing all this stuff, and we're just following these guys, just hanging out, trying to get it all sorted.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you know how in the Suicide Squad, the one that's just been released, they say that Bloodsport put a kryptonite bullet in Superman, and that put him in the ICU.
Yeah.
Well, how cool would it be if at the end they couldn't defeat this thing, this Starro, and then Superman just rocks up and just blasts it with his eye beams? And then
that
I thought that would have been kind of ironic.
That'd been cool, yeah.
It would have been ironic, but I hated how easily they defeated Starro.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Because in the comics, Starro is a huge threat of the scale of Brainiac.
Yeah.
And
100%.
able to keep on coming back because Starro is spread throughout the universe.
I didn't really like the whole El Presidente side of things, and I found that there was absolutely no, there was no sort of repercussions to that. Like I didn't really care if anything happened to that island because we didn't really see. We never saw the people. We never saw why that this is such a calamity.
I find that island that they always go to, that what's called it features in the Dark Knight Returns, I think, is when they first that fictional place.
World.
And like everybody since then has just been milking that place. They use it in Arrow. It's obviously in Batman vs Superman, I think it's mentioned. And it's just like it's just this one little place that they mentioned like once, and then everybody's just jumped on. Yeah,
I just felt that there was no stakes, so it didn't really matter what happened. I just sort of sat there and just went, okay, whatever.
But I think it's one of those things. One of my favorite actors is Martin Freeman, who plays Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit. And he was talking about, like, when he was cast as Bilbo, one of the things that he or in any role that he gets cast in, he likes to remember to know what play you're in. And I think that's really important with a movie like Suicide Squad, because it is just a bit of silly fun. It's like you wouldn't go into Ant-Man and expect Endgame.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, moving on from the Suicide Squad, what do we think about the Batman? Robert Pattinson joining the cowled heroes.
I'll be honest, I'm not too confident with how he's with him yet as being Batman.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's a great
because of the
actor.
reports that are coming out from the production, or more just your confidence in him as an actor?
My confidence in him as an actor to play Batman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And what do you reckon?
Well, I reckon I'm not going to judge because everyone thought Heath Ledger was a terrible casting for the Joker.
This is true.
And that turned out extremely well. So I don't really think it's fair to judge strictly based on casting. You've got to wait until it comes out.
You know,
and do what normal people do and based it on performance.
Ben Affleck was talking about when he was first cast as Batman, and the studio people at the time said to him, like, and Zack Snyder were like, hey, just stay offline for a couple of days now that we've announced it. And he's like, oh, why? And they're like, well, you know, when Heath Ledger was cast, there was a lot of backlash and it was really negative, and just, you don't want to be a part of that. And he's like, okay. And he went home and he's like, he just couldn't help himself. He just typed, the first thing he typed in was Ben Affleck, Batman. And the first article was about him being Batman. And the first comment in that article was just all capital letters, no.
He just turned off his computer straight away.
That was it.
Also, my only comment is, can he really be worse than George Clooney?
Okay, I maintain George Clooney was good
No,
bad movie.
no, Daniel.
He was
No,
a
it
good,
was awful.
he was a
Oh.
good Bruce Wayne though.
Yeah, okay.
Him
I
and
might
Alfred-
give you that just a little.
Yeah, he's a good
like,
Bruce Wayne, but no one
2%.
can be a good Batman
Look
with
at
a
both
script that
sides.
bad.
What do we think of Paul Dano as the Riddler?
Oh, what a choice! I think
I
that's.
just want
I
a good
am actually
Riddler.
looking forward to seeing that come out.
Yeah,
With regards to Rob Pattinson, I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he's
Yeah,
a
he's
fantastic
great.
character actor, and I think he'll be great as Bruce Wayne and his Batman persona. And Dan and I were talking about this the other day. I think the thing that disappointed me about the way that I think the production looks awesome. Everything about it looks fantastic, except for the collar on the cow.
There's always that one thing.
just one.
But because I was so excited to see Ben Affleck play Batman in his own solo story. I think that was the Batman I wanted next. And then to get something that's not that has kind of frustrated me immensely. And it's not that I'm not excited for the Batman. I think it's going to be awesome. Like we talked the other day about the production design and how like the Gotham City is going to be bang on point. But I just wanted to see Ben Affleck's Batman just kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, yeah.
Robert Pattinson is a great actor, and if you want to judge him based on reports that have come out, that's fine. But if you judge him on his acting, watch anything.
Oh, you just froze there, Daniel.
aside from Twilight. Well, anything.
Daniel, you just froze then. Just say that again.
If you want to judge Robert Pattinson, watch anything except for Twilight.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just watch anything else. He's a great actor.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, in Robert Pattinson's defense, even he hated Twilight. So
everyone hated Twilight.
We all know
Twilight
that Bo is a closet Twilight lover.
I like the first film as a bit of a cult classic piss take.
What about you, Nathaniel? Do you like Twilight?
I don't care.
If you ever want to have a good laugh, you watch that film. It's a lot of fun.
If you want a movie about really sexy vampires, watch Interview with the Vampire.
Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
If I want to watch a movie about vampires, I'm going to watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Less sexy, more funny. Yeah, but everyone was like, everyone was like, oh, I don't like Twilight, and people shit on Twilight without seeing it, which I think is unfair.
Fair enough. All right, what do we think of the Flash movie, which is currently shooting in London?
It's
Is
moving
that
too
Flash Point
fast.
or is it not?
It's moving too fast.
I see what you did there. I know you.
Have you guys seen the photos of the Batcave from Michael Keaton's?
We've moved on from that.
we're talking about the Flash now.
Yeah, this is in the Flash film.
Guys.
Yeah, they're having multiple Batman in the Flash movie because it takes place in different.
So they are doing Flashpoint then.
They're doing Flashpoint, but not doing Flashpoint.
Yeah,
doing
their take on the Flashpoint. I think
it's kind of like how Batman vs Superman wasn't the Dark Knight Returns, but it kind of was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if you're gonna do any story with Flash, the only story that they can think of is, wait a minute, he can time travel, right? Otherwise, it's just a guy that runs fast and pushes people over.
Yeah, I think it's only even Superman can time jump, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and people think in that Superman movie, I think Superman, is it 1 or 2 where he does that? Those two get blurred in my head. But in that one, it's like, does he turn you can't just rotate the thing. I'm like, he's breaking the time limit, and that's how, it's the visual, he's not turning the Earth back. That would be stupid.
What do you think? What were you going to say, Nathaniel? Sorry, I cut you off.
I forget.
Oh, that's it. It was over in a flash. Oh.
No, wait, I remember.
That was fast.
I like how Flash does his attacks, but I also love it when he reaches a certain point, he does actually learn how to fight, which improves his game immediately.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Last but not least, Aquaman 2. We know that this is about to commence production, or it is in early stages of production.
I feel like it's going to just drown.
You're full of them today.
Hey, it's DC. It's where I get my best puns.
It's going to be a bit of a watered down sequel.
Did you guys like the first one?
It's not
Yeah,
gonna
I
create
actually
such a splash.
didn't mind the first one.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit fishy.
I don't know. It's a bit of a fishy production.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the fan just said.
I think.
The first one was basically how do we make Aquaman cool, but still Aquaman, which is hard to do because everyone makes fun of Aquaman as the guy that talks to fish.
What I like about Aquaman, the casting of Aquaman, is that Zack Snyder, I think he approached it in a really good way. I've never really believed Aquaman from like why is he this kind of blonde hair, blue eyed dude that lives under the ocean? Whereas Zack Snyder kind of approached it from a point of view of with Jason Momoa had that sort of Polynesian, Hawaiian, sort of all those different cultures that have a relationship with the water in a way that's really important. I think to have somebody come in and do a take on it like that was much more interesting than just have some bro that just like surfing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was also that, but Zack Snyder didn't do that movie, did he?
No, but he cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and he actually was driving to set of the original Batman vs Superman when he heard a radio station like paying out on Aquaman, and he called in, and they answered the call, and they didn't believe that it was Zack Snyder, and he was like, "Look, guys, you know, like Zack, like Aquaman, you got to think this is a guy that's living like thousands of meters below the surface of the water, so the air pressure down there is extreme. So he's got like hardened skin, and you know his trident is the only thing that can cut Superman and stuff like that. You know, like Aquaman's badass. You got to remember this." And they were kind of like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, sure." So that was really cool. All right,
and people forget in the DC universe there are hundreds of different sea life monsters and enemies, which Aquaman can have at least some degree of control over.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing says stop making fun of me like a giant shark. There's that shot in Aquaman where all the sharks are facing him, and I'm like, this is the coolest
It'll
thing
be so good.
Now I'm just imagining Shark being in that scene.
Name is it? It's not Killer Shark, is it? It's
There's King Shark.
King Shark, yeah. So King Shark. What annoys me when they take a character like that and then they put it in something like the Suicide Squad and they take the piss out of it. It's all very funny and enjoyable, but then you can't see that guy coming up against the Flash or against Aquaman or somebody like that, because you'd be like,
yeah, they made him a little too stupid.
Yeah.
Marvel's thing is make fun of everyone, and DC the ones that you like, the Zack Snyder ones, I think the appeal of those is that they take themselves seriously and it makes it like a mythology around them.
Yeah, which is what they are. And Zack Snyder has described that before in interviews. He said, you know, these are mythology-based characters. Like these are modern-day heroes, modern-day gods. Like that. So he kind of approaches it, from what I can tell, in that as if he was retelling, like, you know, the tale of Hercules or
yeah, he definitely bases it very much in that sort of that realm of, you know, mythology. Yeah, that's right.
And you can have two different styles. That's what I've never understood, the big Marvel versus DC debate. Like I've never understood. Like
I hate that. It's like it's the same people that keep bringing up. I didn't like Man of Steel. You saw it 10 years ago. Get over it.
Right. Speaking of what we like, let's move on to our next segment, which is our top fives.
Booyah.
10.
I'm so excited.
All right, so we've put together our top 5 DC films. Now, this list is specifically live action movies. That's what I was given I gave to our co-hosts that they had to come up with their top 5 DC films, and then they get an honorable mention, and they also then get their worst film as well. So we'll start with Daniel. If you want to reveal your top 5, starting with number 5 and work your way up to number 1 spot.
All right. This one is based on an Alan Moore comic. And like all Alan Moore comics, he hates it. Watchmen. My first one is Watchmen. It's great. It's different to the comic. People need to get over that ending. It's great.
Look at Nathaniel.
Watchmen rules. Shut up, Nathaniel.
All right, number 4.
Number 4 is the best adaptation of the 1960s Batman show, Batman by Tim Burton.
Oh, the 89 film? Yeah.
The 89 movie. It took what I love about the TV show and made it dark and cool. And
nice.
And while The Dark Knight Returns was like, hey guys, remember, Batman is fucked and cool and great. This movie was remember that Batman is actually cool though.
Yeah. Coming in number 3.
Batman Begins.
Great film. Good choice.
I was debating whether or not to put this or Dark Knight on the list. I decided on Batman Begins because it did the same thing that Batman 89 did and like introduced this version of Batman.
Yep.
And they didn't use the Joker straight away, which is good. They saved him for the sequel.
Number 2. Oh, yep. Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have problems with that particular film, with how quickly they introduced big bads like Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, they introduced as his trainer
First, but he
didn't kill him. He just didn't save him, which is the same as killing, but with more steps.
My issue is that they made him a villain too quickly in the Batman movies.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I agree, actually.
They should have stuck with the gangs and made the villain at the very end, a new villain at the end to inside the next movies.
Oh, that's a good idea, Daniel.
In The Dark Knight Rises is when they brought Ra's al Ghul back.
Yeah. You have Batman versus Scarecrow in the first one, then you got Joker, and then you have Ra's al Ghul and Bane in the third one.
Yeah. Also, I hated that they killed Harvey Dent off. Like he barely even scratched the surface of Two-Face, and then they just killed him off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in that movie they did with the villains what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 did with villains. They had too many.
Yeah, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 is terrible, and I resent the fact that you compared The Dark Knight to Amazing Spider-Man 2 out of sheer principle.
All right, moving on to your number 2, I believe.
My number 2 is Superman.
The original Richard Donner, 1978. Yep.
Original Christopher Reeves, Richard Donner. It's great. The whole thing is awesome. And people are like, I want Superman to be dark and evil and stupid. And I'm like, no, shut up.
I think the other thing, the really good thing about that film is it sort of was a very big turning point in superhero films. I think it definitely was one of I'd happily label it as like a foundation film. It's
a foundation to superhero movies and to and to the way that we see.
Oh, you froze again, mate.
Be traced out into that film. It's a shame that the sequels immediately went to shit.
Yeah, fair. All right, coming in at number 1.
Number 1, the best Batman movie. 1984 mixed with Batman. You have V for Vendetta.
Oh, that's your number 1.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
It is exactly the kind of Batman movie that DC will never make.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah. That's a great choice, actually. Awesome. Hugo Weaving in that movie and Natalie Portman absolutely crushed it. So, yeah. Wow, good
Yeah.
choice, Dan. That's good.
Thanks.
Wow,
Where's
wow, 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 wow.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh, wow, wow, wow.
What's everyone's cameras going? You guys okay?
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah, we still got you. All right, let's move on to Nathaniel. Bring in your top 5, starting with number 5.
All right. First, I'll state that I have changed my list from when you asked me to make it earlier. With
Are we
coming
doing
up
like cameras
first with honestly the one which I was first introduced to DC Comics by Batman and Robin.
Fun.
Oh.
I was introduced by it. I will forever love the ice puns in it, and it shall forever be one of my favorites.
I don't know why we're not doing cameras, but
Stay cool, Nathaniel. Stay cool.
this movie's total trash.
I don't care if a movie is trash. What I
Chill,
care
Daniel,
about
chill.
is the significance of it to me.
That's fair.
Okay,
I
number
can't
4.
argue with
Daniel.
self-significance. Are we
Number
doing cameras or
4
not?
will be Aquaman.
Oh, yeah, cool. Nice choice.
I
That's right.
loved how it's pretty much stepped up the latest DC movies after Batman v Superman happened,
Yep, yeah.
and pretty much redeemed the newer DC movies to me.
It is amazing how much the DC movies, because with Marvel you're basically at a 7 constantly, but with DC you can be at a fucking 1 or a 10 or a 7, and you have no idea.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. But Aquaman, I like Aquaman.
Daniel, your camera's turned off.
Yeah. Why did you
What's
turn
going
off
on?
your camera?
There we go.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
bring
good.
in your number 3,
Um,
Nathaniel.
The Dark Knight.
Good choice. High up on your list. That's good. That's good.
I definitely love the Joker in it.
Yep. Was it all just Heath Ledger that put that on the list for you, or were there other elements of the film that you liked?
Mostly just the Joker.
Yeah, okay.
Fair enough. You love the Joker.
Hey, I'm a Mr.
Is
J
Heath Ledger
guy.
your? Fair
I'm a
enough.
Mr. J guy.
Is he your favorite Joker?
Unfortunately, animated Joker beats him.
Well, not unfortunate.
Yeah, but it's animated. It's different.
Yeah, so we
But
didn't get
he
to
is
put it
my
on our
favorite
list.
live action Joker.
It's
Fair
like when
enough.
people
Is your
say,
favorite?
Kevin Conroy should play Batman in a live action. No, he should.
No, he's a different type of actor. He's a voice actor,
Though my
and that
second,
requires skill and talent. But though.
though I will say my second favorite live action Joker will have to be Bo Baker.
Hey!
Hey!
Especially with the new film, Night Before the Dawn, I believe.
A Dark Knight Before the Dawn.
Dark Knight Before the Dawn.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
That is the highest compliment anyone has paid me thus far regarding that film. So thank you. And I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
you are better than Jared Leto.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Dan. All right, number 2, Nathaniel.
Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh, nice choice. Yeah, cool. 4
I
hours
will
of goodness.
state that the only reason why it isn't number 1 is because of how they broke up the movie.
Okay, yeah.
They could have made it flow a bit better.
Okay, cool.
That's
I
the
reckon-
only reason why it's at number 2.
Okay, no, that's a legitimate reason, and I'm glad it's so high up on your list because it is phenomenal. And number 1.
The Suicide Squad, the latest one.
Really? You liked it that much?
Mostly because of King Shark.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
King Shark is also in the Harley Quinn cartoon. If you want more of him.
Yeah, I know. I am completely aware. My favorite thing about King Shark is because they actually, though people will disagree, that is the accurate intelligence of King Shark from the comics until he got smarter
Yeah, fair enough.
Eventually.
via certain experiments done to him.
All
Comic
right.
bullshit.
So that's Nathaniel's top 5. Let's bring in Emma. What's your top 5, Em?
Well, my number 5 spot, it was really tough between these two movies. But
Yep.
I did end up going with Wonder Woman as number 5.
Yep.
And then I had Aquaman as number 4.
Okay.
The Batman 1989 and Tim Burton one was my number 3.
Yeah, cool.
Yay!
Zack Snyder's Justice League was number 2.
Yes.
And The Dark Knight was number 1.
Yeah, cool. Good choices. What made you pick Wonder Woman in your top 5?
There was something that I found well done about that movie.
Mhm.
And my options were, like, I was torn up between The Dark Knight Rises and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome. No, I really
Yeah.
dig that you put it in your top 5. That's so good.
Yeah, I just think
really
that,
like.
yeah, there was something about that movie that I kind of liked. It was like the first like big name like female focused one,
Yeah, cool.
and it was done well.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Sorry,
The
Dan,
most
what were you going to say?
adorable thing that I saw when I went to see Wonder Woman was a little girl. She was about 8, dressed in Wonder Woman costume, and I'm like, "Oh, please don't suck for her sake, not mine."
Nice. No, that's a great
when
top 5, Em.
I like when
think so
superhero
far-
movies can appeal to kids because they forget that superhero movies are made for kids, and they need to like have that
Definitely a
audience in
broad
mind as well.
audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bo, bring in your top 5.
Alrighty. This was really hard because I love DC films. So I've got like a list of honorary mentions that would have made the cut of my top 10, but we could only do 5. So, starting at number 5, I've got Watchmen.
Yep.
2009, I think.
Yep.
What I loved about that film was that it took that sort of golden age superhero story and took these characters that were, you know, relatively no-name sort of characters in terms of mainstream comic books, and it was just such a great film, such a great style. I remember thinking about Zack Snyder directing that film at that time. I was like, this man has to make a Batman film. So
Dreams really do come true.
following that, I've got Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That's number 4.
Number 4, yeah. Just because what a great world that he built, and what a great story when you think about it, from Man of Steel all the way up to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Such a great developmental story about those characters in that world. Number 3, sorry, Dan?
I disagree with you, but you said not that the theatrical cut of Batman vs Superman doesn't count.
Right, that doesn't count. I would encourage you to watch the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
not going to, but I won't judge it because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you wanted to watch something, tell him not to watch it.
Number
I'm
3.
not that
3 guys.
critical.
I got Batman Returns. Now, simply because this was such a huge part of my childhood, Batman 89 and Batman Returns introduced me to the world of the Dark Knight. So there's just something particularly about the second film, that I just love. In
I
terms
still
of
think it's the best representation so far of Gotham.
Yeah, I agree. I think Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be a
Strong.
close runner-up.
Yeah.
If not on par. But so Batman Returns for number 3. And then obviously The Dark Knight for number 2.
Yep.
Just because I tried to, when I was sort of ranking this, I was trying to be like, which ones have I seen the most, or am I willing to re-watch?
Yeah, it's a hard on-the-spot question sometimes.
So I was obsessed with The Dark Knight when it came out, like utterly obsessed. My teachers were like, I remember I had a parent-teacher interview night, and my art teacher was like, Bo has an obsession. You need to have a chat with him about
He
this.
wants to be Batman.
That obsession is completely healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
As long as you don't kill your
100% agree,
parents.
Nathaniel.
As long as you don't actually do the stuff in it, and also as long as you don't replace it with something bad like smoking.
Yeah,
That's
very
right.
cool. So,
And bring in your number one, Bo.
one favorite DC film of all time, ladies and gentlemen, it is of course Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Why? Because it's got the most badass Batman that we've ever had on screen ever in the film, and it's just a great visual representation of a comic book Batman in a comic book world. There's, like even the shots of Superman in that film are just picturesque, like straight off the page comic book stuff.
He used guns.
Pardon?
He used guns.
So did Frank Miller's Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the Batman
Batman
use guns?
does not do guns unless unavoidable.
Yeah.
Batman does batarangs. He will not kill, but he won't save you and throw you off a train.
That's a lie because eventually
Might use grappling
He kills
guns.
so often. It's very funny.
in The Dark Knight Rises he kills people. In Batman Returns he kills people.
I'd argue in every Batman movie he's killed people.
So
Or at least
what about
cuts them.
the Arkham games? He beats them up, breaks their bones, gives them some internal bleeding, leaves them out in the cold all night. I'm sure they're fine.
They're fine. I'd
Well,
argue
just have to
kill
pick-
you. The cold and bullets killed you.
In
All right.
Arkham Knight, the police actually picks those people up, though.
I'm sure they might have missed
That's
you.
true. That is true. That does happen. All right, my top five. Number
Yes.
5, V for Vendetta.
Woo!
Choice.
So Dan, once you said that, I was like, yes, Dan. Good job.
You
Purely
can
because
get that.
I think it's just so well written, that film.
Have
And
you
yeah,
watched it recently?
sorry,
Have you watched it recently?
not recently, no.
Do yourself a favor, watch it and be terrified at the way the story in that.
Is very applicable to New South Wales at the moment.
Double feature V for Vendetta in 1984, and then realize that V for Vendetta is what would happen in 1984 if Batman was in it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Coming in at number 4 is Todd Phillips' The Joker.
Oh yeah.
Joker. I just absolutely love the way that film is put together. I love the look of it. I love that it can exist on its own, and I really, really hope that it does. I hope they don't do a sequel. I hope they just leave it as it is. I think it's just a beautiful little gem in the collection of DC films.
Cool. There's a movie that no, what is it? Basically it I'll look it up. You carry on.
Yeah, fair enough. But and just to fight against the
King of
machine
comedy.
to get that film made, I know that Toby Emmerich did everything in his power to try and make that film not happen. Kept reducing the budget on them, and they still managed to produce that quality. It's just insane. Number 3 for me is Batman Begins, because I think it's a
good.
totally underrated film in Nolan's trilogy. I think it really, really set the benchmark for every superhero film since that came out. Whether you go dark or whether you go funny, I just think that Nolan really set the bar for superhero films when that movie came out. Number 2, The Watchmen. I think it's close to Zack Snyder's best. And I just think, yeah, when I remember watching it, Bo, and I 100% agree with you, and it was just like, this man needs to make a Batman film. I really wish they made a Rorschach
What was it
film.
for you?
Sorry?
What scene was it for you when you thought this guy's got to make a Batman film?
From the very beginning, the comedian's death.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I was just like, please make a Batman film.
For me, it was the hallway fight in the prison with Night Owl.
Yeah.
And it was also when Night Owl drops out of Archie and the cape billows out.
Yes.
And ends. I was like, oh, no.
Come on, do Batman. And even the prison fight with Rorschach, he's like, you guys realize that I'm not stuck in here with you, but you're stuck in here with me. I was like, oh, come on, just do something with Batman. And then top of the list is, this is really, really hard. And I just had to compare it to one of my other favorite films, which is Heat. And so therefore The Dark Knight takes the top of the list for me. Because I just think it's such a great great film. And yeah, Heath Ledger all the way for sure. All right, let's
Okay,
go with our honorable
here's a
mentions real quick.
question for you.
Mm.
If you take away the Joker from that movie, is it still a great movie, or is it elevated because of the Joker?
It's
No,
definitely
it's
elevated because of the Joker, but it's still a great crime drama without him.
You think about all the Harvey Dent and the mob, all that stuff still happens. It's still a really great film.
Yeah. And I really wish they didn't kill Harvey at the end. I wish they kept him for the next film.
Yeah,
How
but
could
like
it have been
in like realistic version of Batman, half his face is burnt off.
That's okay.
It would have been such a rewarding moment as a fan in The Dark Knight Rises when they're in that big sort of criminal courtroom that they've made themselves. If instead of Scarecrow at the judge's table, it had actually been Harvey Dent.
Harvey flicking a coin, yeah.
I immediately agree.
That would have been sick.
All right, let's go with our
Nice
honorable
things to
mentions.
do.
What was your honorable mention, Daniel?
My honorable mention is the Batman 66 movie.
Yeah.
I love that show, but that's really just an episode.
And your worst film?
My worst DC movie?
Yeah.
Catwoman. I realize how low the bar is. I was going to say Batman.
Knock that out of my existence. I don't know that exists.
I realized that that I wanted to say Batman vs Superman just to fuck with you guys, but Catwoman is just so shit. It's just so bad. She's a female superhero, right? Right? No, it has some powers. I saw that Tim Burton movie once.
Fair enough. Nathaniel, your honorable mention and your worst film.
Well, I'll be honest, because I would have to see if I'm allowed for my honorable mention to actually be an animated one.
Yeah, go on. That's okay.
Justice League Doom.
Oh, okay, good choice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Absolutely favorite movie. I absolutely love the names of Batman's plans.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name of his plans.
See, that would have been a good villain eventually to bring in against the Justice League, somebody like Vandal Savage.
Oh, yes.
And what was your worst film?
Now that Daniel has mentioned it, Catwoman.
Well, yeah.
I forgot that. I personally forgot that
it doesn't exist in my mind. Your honorable mention and your worst film.
Yeah. Can we say 2 honorable mentions, or is it only 1?
Oh, you got to narrow it down to 1.
All right, The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you were saying that might have been your top 5, so that makes sense.
Yeah, like that. I was sorry up between that and Wonder Woman, but
yeah. And what was the worst film?
Catwoman. I mentioned it and I reminded Dan of it. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and you let me go first.
So it was on my list first, and then it got put on Dan's.
All right, Bo.
There is a correct answer
honorable
for
mention
worst.
And your worst film.
Okay, so honorable mention. Like I said, I have a list of honorable mentions, but I want to say Wonder Woman.
Yeah, right.
2017, because I think it was such a great experience to go into that movie, and they just treated her as a character. Like there was no extra anything about. They were just like, this is the character. Take it or leave it. Enjoy. And you're like,
she's made of clay. You're either on board or you're not.
Yeah, and it was great. So which leads me into my least favorite, and I know Catwoman exists, but my brain had that information.
I'd like to apologize for everyone for reminding you that Catwoman, the worst DC movie, exists.
My least favorite film is probably Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah,
Really?
wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was
how they could go get it so wrong.
It was such an anti-Wonder Woman 2017. Like you went from that to that, and you only have to watch the pitch meeting for Wonder Woman 84 to make you go, oh wow. Why did they do that?
I don't even need to watch it. It was
nothing against Gal. She's fantastic. And they proved that in Zack Snyder's Justice League. She's just a kick-ass machine. Like, she's a great character, great actress that plays her.
My
If you
honorable
want-
mention was I really, really wanted to list Batman 89 because I absolutely adore that film. But I thought about it, and I think I needed to put Superman 78 in there.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought
Purely,
Man of Steel for sure.
purely because what Christopher Reeves and Richard Donner did back then for superhero films, it just needs that little bit of extra mention in there. So went with Superman 78, and then my worst film, I've also completely blocked out Catwoman. So I won't change my results to Catwoman because it doesn't.
Even though it is
It
correct.
doesn't exist for me.
Yeah,
in-
Catwoman was already in my list.
a terrible film for me was Birds of Prey. I absolutely hated that film.
Okay,
Um,
I have a question about that.
yeah,
Because of Birds of Prey, people are saying that one of the reasons that the Suicide Squad failed is because people are sick of Harley Quinn.
no, I think it was just a really bad cast, really poorly written characters based on characters that are already very well established in DC Comics.
Yeah.
I think it was just an excuse to throw a bunch of girls together, and really it needed much more planning, better writer.
They
And
weren't really the Birds of Prey.
Roman Sionis, played by Ewan McGregor, was just woefully put together. So anyway, moving on. All right, let's do this next round really quick because we're burning through time.
Okay.
So really quickly, our top 5 animated films. Go, Jan Tickner.
Okay.
Really quick.
We got Assault on Arkham,
Yeah, good choice.
Flashpoint,
Yeah.
Batman Face, which is the animated version
Yeah,
of the 60s
okay,
show.
fair enough.
William Shatner is Two-Face. I mean,
All
what
right,
more can you want?
Number 2.
Dark Knight Returns,
Yeah, nice. And number 1.
All-Star Superman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
All-Star Superman has the only ending to Lex Luthor's story that makes sense.
Fair enough.
I haven't seen that one. What happens to Lex in the end of that one?
Well, at the beginning of the movie, Lex kills Superman, and throughout the entire movie, Superman's dying, and then then Lex gets Superman's power.
Fair enough.
Yes,
All right,
finally, I can
Nathaniel,
do
your
what
top
I
5
want.
animated. Go.
Suicide Squad, Hell to Play,
Yeah.
Son of Batman.
Oh, sorry, Nathaniel.
Didn't really like that one either.
I
That's okay.
honestly only liked it because it introduced Damian Rain.
Yeah, cool.
I'd like to smack that kid.
I'm a fan of Damian Rain.
Number 3.
Justice League Flashpoint,
Yeah, there we go. Another one for Flashpoint. It's got 2. Yeah,
Batman Assault on Arkham.
great story. That's 2 for Arkham.
But now I feel bad because I said that as my honorable mention, Justice League Doom. But
That's
if
right.
not Justice League Doom, I will probably go with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a cool time.
Fair enough.
That
Oh,
is why I absolutely hoped that the Snyder's Cut could have been if it continued on to the very end of his thing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, true.
Finish his dream. I feel
Yeah.
like that would be his end point.
All right, Em, bring it on home. What's your top film?
I haven't actually seen enough animated
Right, well,
movies
top
to have
one
a
then.
list.
What's your favorite then?
I also like the All-Star Superman one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bo, your top 5. Go.
So, number 5, Batman, Year One.
Yep.
Number 4, Under the Red Hood.
Yes.
Number 3, The Long Halloween, Part 1 and 2.
Yes.
Number 2, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2.
Yep.
Number 1, and there can be only one, make no mistake, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah. Boom. All right. My top 5 is Long Halloween Part 1 2. Got you there. Backed you up. Assault on Arkham, boys.
Yay.
Under the Red Hood. Got you backed up there, Bo. Dark Knight Returns, Part 1, 2. Also back you up there, Bo. And then number 1, 100% agree. It's untouchable. Mask of the Phantasm. Oh.
It's such a good movie, and it's a part of the best Batman thing to exist.
Mark Hamill's Joker, Kevin Conroy's Batman. It's great.
All right,
It's
we're
a
getting
good
towards
choice.
the end of our show. First episode, we've crushed it with DC. Let's have a quick discussion. What would we like to see from DC films?
Don't copy Marvel.
Copy Marv. Look, 100% agree, Dan. Definitely. They're two different things, and they need to be treated as such.
BDC. Get
BDC.
the good comics of DC and turn them properly into movies.
I was going to say that. I think the best avenue forward for DC is to take existing graphic novels and just go page for page. This is the story.
Yeah.
That's what they do with the animated ones. If they do that live action, they'll succeed.
But rather than try and create like this shared universe or whatever, just cast. I don't care if it's a different cast every time, as long as the story is focused on.
I think the only problem with that, Bo, and I agree with you to a degree. I think the only thing is that you'll get bored going, well, this is what I've already read.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a degree of either additions or...
For example,
But no one reads comics, though.
We haven't seen that.
No, that's true.
So, like, fair enough if you were to say, like, we did, say, for example, like something like The Long Halloween, which I think if they did page for page would be really cool, but people would go, oh, that's like The Dark Knight. Okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like Year One. They're like, we've seen this.
But how about instead of doing it page by page, you just adapt it like a book?
Yeah, it's like Court of Owls, which is a favorite of Dan's. That could be a really cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right. Next question. What DC character would you like to see on screen that you have not seen yet? Ooh, gotcha.
Ooh, gee.
Sorry, but I just
or you may have seen but not enough of. I'll accept that as well.
I'll have to say, just for a laugh, I would love to see Batman in live action fight Condiment King.
Oh, the tomato
That's
sauce.
a Suicide Squad villain, if ever I've heard one.
It would just be hilarious just to see just a simple scene, just one, of Batman having to deal with the most outrageous of his villains, like Condiment King.
I want to see Superman versus Bizarro.
Cool, yeah.
Bizarro doesn't think that he's a villain. He's just like, I want to save people, but I suck.
Sorry, that just reminds me of...
What was that, Em?
I can also say the person I haven't seen enough of is Poison Ivy.
Yeah, no.
More Ivy, yeah, cool.
Yeah, like the only rendition that I saw of her was Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
she was good.
I
maintain that Poison Ivy was a good character.
Yeah,
what can be described as a bad movie.
A very, very bad movie.
Yeah. But I think they just need to do a movie that shows more of her. Yeah, because she's good. She's good as a character. She just didn't get enough screen time in.
She's dating Harley Quinn at the moment, so you can have her and Harley Quinn team up for Birds of Prey 2, the good one.
What about you, Bo?
Is Ben Affleck's Batman an answer? I want to see more of that. But no, seriously, there's a character that I've really loved since I read the Nightfall novel adaptation, and that's a character called Arnold Etchison, and he's codenamed Abattoir. His thing is that he murders members of his family and then eats their flesh in order to consume their life force. And I think that's a really dark villain that kind of explains a lot about who Batman is in terms of his psychology. If you were to think of you got to deal with people like that every other night.
Yeah, cool.
He's not going to be. He's going to be the kind of Batman we see in Batman vs Superman for sure.
I've got 3. Unfortunately, I found it really hard to narrow it down.
If we're doing
I'm breaking my own rules.
If we're doing multiple, I call the Penguin. Carry on.
Yeah, cool. Zatanna. I'd love to see Zatanna. I think that'd be really cool. I want to see a live action Swamp Thing. The TV series started, and it was just, like, it was good design, but it wasn't the story that I wanted. And Hush. I'd love to see Hush.
Oh, Hush is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kez, if we're doing multiple, I want a redo of Catwoman.
Yes.
We had good Catwoman.
Halle Berry does not exist.
Yeah, I want a redo of Catwoman. That one doesn't
we
count.
had good Catwoman in live action before.
Go, Nathaniel.
I'll have to say, Sultana would be difficult for one reason only.
Mm.
The actor will have to learn how to speak backwards.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is the most difficult part about that character.
Well, I mean, you can just say it in forward and then just edit it in reverse.
No, you can't.
No, you can't,
just
Emma,
do that.
apparently.
No, because then it'd be like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
You actually need them to learn how to speak backwards.
All right, let's round off our show. We're almost hitting the hour mark, so let's go with give a out of 5 rogues for your favorite Bat film.
Bat film.
Mm.
Bat film.
Okay.
I give Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice 5 rogues.
Whoa.
I'll give Dark Knight Returns Part 1 4.5.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'll give the Dark Knight 4.5.
4.5.
I will give Justice League Snyder Cut 4.8 rogues.
Hey!
You know how hard that is for me?
Yeah, come on, Kez is going to edit that in.
Thanks a lot.
You can round that up to 5 rogues.
All right, I'll choose something that nobody said yet because I want to keep the options. Like lots of people can choose different things. So, like, I 100% agree with Dark Knight. I like those other choices. So I'll go with Joker, and I'm going to give that 4 rogues out of 5.
Nice.
So there you go.
Very cool. Oh, right, it was King of Comedy. If you like Joker, watch King of Comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Taxi Driver, or both.
Look, everybody, thank you for joining us for our very first episode of the Rogues and Show Online. We talked about DC Comics today, DC characters, DC films. DC was our very first theme. It was great to have our host, Daniel Tickner.
Hi.
Nathaniel Scott.
Greetings.
Emma Tickner.
Hi.
Bo Baker.
Howdy.
And I've been your host, Karen. Stick around. Next week, we've got some more Rogues and Show coming straight at you. Have a great week, everybody. See you around.
Woo!
Bye.